Are you one of those people who writes their passwords down on a post-it note and attaches it to the monitor? Well, you could be at risk of a cyber attack. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can store your passwords both at home and in your business. If you're new here, my name is Jonathan Edwards and I own an IT company called Integral IT. We help businesses of all sizes with their IT support and cybersecurity. So subscribe to my channel for updates every week. Over the last decade, technology has completely changed. Nearly everything we do is now online. We need our smartphones or our computers to access virtually everything. Let's think about banking. I know a lot of the banks in my local town have actually closed, and we're now looking at these online banks like Starling or Monzo. And what about shopping? We can get virtually anything delivered to our home the next day using Amazon. And then there's social media. We're forever connected to people all around the world, and it's all done from our smartphone. This leaves us having to remember so many usernames and passwords for all the applications that we use. And if we think about our businesses as well, it's even more passwords. We've got our email and all our business apps. So what do people do when it comes to passwords? Well, they choose the easy option, and that is they choose a password that's really easy to remember. If we look at the 10 most common passwords in 2020, you'll see why we've got a bit of a password problem, which is leading, unfortunately, to cyber attacks. Now, it makes perfect sense. Us humans can't remember complex passwords. So the easiest thing for us to do is choose something that's easy for us to remember when we need it. We might use a children's name or a favourite football team. But the problem is, if a password is easy to remember, it's also easier to hack. Now, this problem is compounded even further because we can't be bothered remembering different passwords for different applications. So the easiest thing to do is to use the same password or a combination of the same password for each application. We might just add a number at the end or something like that. Now, this is a big problem because if a hacker gets one password, then they've got every password that we use and they've got the keys to our digital kingdom. Now, the answer to this problem is quite simple. We need to create individual and complex passwords for every application that we use. Now, in order for us to do that and to remember them, we need a way to store these passwords. Now, I know a lot of people who store passwords in different ways. Let's first have a look at the different ways people are storing their passwords. Some people still use the old-fashioned method of writing their passwords down. That might be a notebook which is kept in the drawer, or worse still, it might be on a post-it note which is attached to the monitor. I once did a cybersecurity assessment for a healthcare company. Now, everybody in this company used the same password right from management down to access their computers and their email. Worse still, that password was stuck to virtually every monitor. Now, obviously, this isn't secure. But even if you're using the notebook method, it's not very flexible. What happens if the notebook's not with you? Or worse still, what happens if you lose the notebook? Another popular method that people use to store their passwords is in a Word or Excel file. Now, that might be called password.doc or password.xls. Now, whilst this is slightly better than attaching a post-it note to your monitor, it's still not secure. These Word or Excel files aren't encrypted, so if someone accesses your computer, they'll be able to read all your passwords. It's also not very flexible, a bit like the notebook. What happens if you lose your laptop or your file gets deleted somehow? Again, you've lost all of your passwords. The third most common way that I see people storing passwords is to let our web browser remember the passwords for us. So a web browser is either Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge. When we log into applications, the web browser conveniently asks us if we want it to remember our passwords for us. Nice and easy. Recently, we installed a new computer for one of our customers, and as part of the request, they said we absolutely have to copy all the Chrome passwords across to the new computer, otherwise they wouldn't remember anything. Now again, this isn't very flexible. What happens if we're using a different computer or our smartphone? We just wouldn't remember any of the passwords. Plus, if a hacker got access to our computer, well, they can log into all our applications as well. So it's not a good tactic. So if us humans can't remember all these complex passwords and we're not very good at storing them, what's the answer? Well, the answer is simple. That is to use a password manager. Now you might be sat there thinking, what is a password manager? Well, I'll explain what a password manager is in 6 steps. Firstly, our password manager is a secure online portal where we can store all of our passwords for us. The password manager becomes our password brain. You will never have to remember another password ever again. Our password manager will do it for us. Secondly, our password manager will create these complex passwords for us. Again, us humans aren't very good at creating complex passwords. So the password manager will have a password generator and that will create the passwords for us. Thirdly, a password manager will be secure. Now you might be worried about putting all your passwords into an online portal. How can you trust it? Well, firstly, it should have 2-factor authentication to log in, so it can't be easily hacked. And secondly, a good password manager will be built with something called zero knowledge infrastructure. That means that no one else apart from you has access to your passwords, not even the password manager company. So you've got to look out for zero knowledge. And number 4, a good password manager will have multi-device support. Now in this day and age, people might have a Windows laptop, they might have an iPhone, they might have an iPad. So it's really important that we can access all of our passwords no matter what device we're using. This means that effectively our secure passwords come everywhere with us, not like that notebook in the drawer. Now the 5th feature of a good password manager is to have advanced security features built in. I talk a lot on my YouTube channel about the importance of using 2-factor authentication. So a password manager will be a place to put our passwords, but it'll be also the application we use to generate that 6-digit 2FA code. It's just one application for all your password security. Now the 6th feature of a good password manager is that it's built for business. As a business owner, it's important that you can see the password hygiene of all your team members. Now, you won't be able to see the individual passwords themselves, but you'll be able to see how strong they are and if those passwords are getting reused elsewhere for different applications. When you're running a business, there's no point in you getting yourself into a secure position if all your team members are using weak passwords. So hopefully this video has given you a little bit of an insight how you can manage and store your passwords securely. Now you might be asking, do I have any recommendations for a good secure password manager? Well, it just so happens that I do. My IT company recommends a product called Keeper Security. We find this product has all of the features that I've listed and it's built and designed for home and business. So be sure to check that out. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'll see you again soon.